If you play Call of Duty, then you know just how important the class setup that you use is. It's one of the most important aspects to doing well, and it can mean the difference between you doing okay and not okay. In this video, I'm going to show you the class setup that I created, as well as how I used it to go from a negative KD to a positive KD player. So, if you're not happy with where your KD is at the moment, or perhaps you're negative, as most people are, then this video is for you. This class setup is going to be more geared towards team deathmatch, however you can feel free to try your luck with any game mode, of course. So without any further wait, let's get into it. So the first thing that you need to decide is the primary that you're going to use. I would recommend starting with the KN44, as it's very well balanced at most ranges and is very forgiving for new players. If you know what you're comfortable with and have been playing for a while, then use whatever weapon you feel most comfortable with. I just recommend an assault rifle or a submachine gun because of the range versatility, whereas a shotgun is only useful at such a close range, and if you get used to not having to aim very much, then that's not going to make you a better player in the long run. So, KN44 is my recommendation. Just use what you're comfortable with, and if it is a shotgun, then that's okay, of course. So, we're going to be giving it 2 attachments and an optic. You can substitute the optic for a second tactical, but we'll get into that later. First up, give it a suppressor, because you want to be a little bit of a ninja on the mini-map. You want to make sure that your opponents aren't seeing you. When I wasn't doing very well, I didn't realize until I had made the changes what exactly I was doing wrong. And one of those was not shooting down UAVs, and one of them was not using a suppressor. This is mainly for team deathmatch, as stealth and awareness are vastly important here. So, after you attach a suppressor, you can use whatever you want for the second attachment. Anything you like, whatever makes you feel more comfortable with the weapon you're using. As a matter of fact, that's why I use the optic that I have. I don't feel that it increases my accuracy very much. However, it is something that I enjoy using. I prefer the color green over red when it comes to the sights of a weapon, at least. So that's just what makes it more comfortable for me, but like I said, you can sub it for a tactical. However, that's the only thing that it'll work substituting for, because there just isn't room in the build to include more attachments. So I would recommend using a grip, because it's going to make it easier to hit people, and it's going to increase your damage per second output, because if you're hitting with more bullets, you're going to be dealing more damage. However, this is just my recommendation if you're using an assault rifle or a submachine gun, especially an assault rifle, because you want to use that at more of a medium range. However, if you're using the KN44, this can work pretty well at long and even close ranges as well. So let's get into the secondary. The secondary, you want to be using a black cell. Like I said earlier, you want to be taking down those UAVs. Reason being is, if you are known to the enemies where you are on the map roughly, then it's going to put you at a significant disadvantage. I noticed that my KD raised significantly when I just started simply shooting down all the UAVs that I would find. And next up, for the lethals and tacticals, you're going to want to use 1 shock charge and 1 trip mine. 2 shock charges if you substituted an optic for it. So the reason for this is it's going with the theme of minimal effort, maximum effect. You want to be taking advantage of easy points. That's the theme of the build. So with a shock charge trip mine and a black cell, combining with some of the perks that we're going to get into, it's going to make this very easy for you. So what are the perks exactly? Well, we're going to be using Overclock or Sixth Sense or Ghost. All 3 are really great. Ghost makes it so that all they really need is 1 sweep with the UAV to figure out where you are, and Ghost is going to prevent even that from happening. Overclock is going to make it so that you get your specialist quicker, which is my recommended path to take if you're just starting out. And then of course Sixth Sense can give you an added level of awareness. However, I don't quite use Sixth Sense as much anymore on core mode, because I find it a little bit more useful in hardcore, because judging by the position of my allies, I can get a rough read on where enemies might be. But I would definitely recommend Overclock for sure. So next, your perk 2. Go with Ante up. This is going to give you a little bit of a score boost every time you start in. When you combine it with Overclock and your specialist, it's going to make things very, very quick for you. We'll get into the specialist in just a moment. But third up is the engineer perk. Now, why was I able to do so well when making this class shift and this bit of a mindset shift, even though I wasn't really that great of a player? Well, engineer and care package, because when you can get a care package that gives you almost any streak in the game, and you can re-roll those chances of getting something higher, it allows you to gain access a bit more consistently to perks, score streaks that would otherwise be too difficult. So, with your specialist, you're going to go with combat focus. Why? Combine it with overclock and ante up, and you're going to be getting a lot of score. However, how do you get that score? Are you just going to run and gun the whole time? No, not exactly. Of course you can if you want. But we're going to be taking advantage of the shock charge and trip mine combo. You see, when you use those, not only do you give yourself a bit of map awareness, you can close down an entire lane on the map. Typically there are 3, and it's going to give you some awareness of that area and can get you an easy kill as well. So with that being said, you're also going to be shooting down UAVs, counter UAVs, anything in the air that you see. And I would advise, if you're close to your streaks, then use combat focus while you're shooting those down, because UAVs, counter UAVs, your shock charge trip mine combo, well, when those are doing their work, you don't have to worry about anyone shooting at you. It's going to make gathering points very easy, and you take the most advantage of that when you're using combat focus. However, your primary weapon is still going to be used. How do I recommend using it? Well, it changes as you progress. First, I would advise being defensive and then aggressive. But before we get into that, let's get into the score streaks. You're going to want to use UAV, care package, and counter UAV. You can use your UAV and counter UAV simultaneously and use combat focus. You'll be getting double assist points, and it'll be more easy for you to find an easy kill yourself using your primary, giving you a lot of points. So, being defensive. Being an aggressive player is fine. However, I would recommend you be defensive at first. That's the build, but how to play it is just as important. So, be conservative, be very defensive. Don't try to rush the enemy spawn. What I would advise is finding a building and a building surrounding areas, and make sure that you're using your shock charge trip mine to give you awareness throughout those areas and basically lock down an area. I'm not saying camp, and I'm not saying rush. I'm saying play balance somewhere in between. Pick a fourth of the map and just run around in that area, because when you do that, you're going to be aware of your surroundings more so than the state of the whole map at the same time. This is going to make things a lot easy for you. Don't go searching for 50-50 gunfights. Be waiting, be prepared, set them up. That's how you do well in Call of Duty. So, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have fun raising your KD, and check back here for more tips if you want to see more. I plan on releasing more tip videos just like this, so have a good day. Bye.